we do a lot of lifting.
The Boys in the Boat has the attention for now, but the UW women's rowers also have a spectacular story to tell.
What can happen? I'm already disabled.
His worsening cerebral palsy prevented this experienced paraglider from taking flight until now. These stories and more next on CityStream. Hi, I'm Enrique Cerna. Welcome to CityStream from the Arc of King County. March is Developmental Disability Awareness Month. That's why we're here at the Arc, an organization that provides information, support, and advocates for those with intellectual and developmental challenges. The Arc's vision is a world where kids and adults with disabilities can thrive as equal and valued members of the community. Much more just ahead. Decades before the Boys in the Boat won the 1936 Olympics, women rowers at the University of Washington were writing their own story about the fight for the right to row. Those early trailblazers and the gutsy women of the late 60s and 70s cleared the way for today's rowers to compete at the highest level. This proves that sometimes you do have to rock the boat. Producers Kathy Toohey and Valerie Vaza explain.
It's early morning at the University of Washington. The sun has just cracked the horizon. The lake is calm and still. But the Conabear Shell House is buzzing.
Water's beautiful. Coxswains, we're gonna go to the Space Needle. Go straight through the cut.
And for the Husky women's crew, it's time to get to work.
I said just go nice and slow.
The shells cut through the lake with ease, but it takes hard work to make it look so effortless.
Separate and flow. Yes, nice.
Guiding the team through today's workout is head coach Yasmin Farouk, or Yaz as she's called.
The core is connecting your hand to the blade.
She's laser focused, analyzing every stroke as they progress through the practice.
This is my 8th year at Washington. I was at Stanford for 10 years before that, and I was on the U.S. team for 8 years.
She was also a 2-time Olympian.
Rowing's a power endurance sport.
Keep your body level,
So we have to train a lot of systems, and that's why we literally train all year round. So there's certainly the aerobic capacity is important, and you train that by doing a lot of what we call steady state or low intensity miles. Then there's also power, which you need to get off the line and to be able to sprint. So we do a lot of lifting. We lift 2 to 3 times a week, depending on the time of year.
And then there are the intangibles.
It's the people, and it is what they are willing to do for one another. The character that they have, like that transcends everything else. That's the most important.
The unwavering determination of today's teams can be traced back to the early pioneers of the sport.
The history of the University of Washington women's program is exceptional. It's always been defined by these women that were breaking barriers, that were carving new paths. And that's what they were doing. They were coming down to row.
The first documented report of women's rowing at Washington was in 1903. But it didn't really take off until Hiram Conabear was hired as the coach in 1906.
Hiram Conabear is the classic founder. He's our founder. Even though we had started rowing before he arrived, he is the founder of Washington Rowing.
Conabear was a huge advocate for women's rowing. and wanted women to train just as vigorously as the men and to compete. College administrators, however, disagreed. They thought a beauty contest with matching outfits and graceful sculling was more ladylike.
And Hiram Conaber each time pushed back at the University of Washington. He would not be stopped. He just would not be stopped.
Conditions for the women were dreadful. Their boat shed was cold, leaky, and had no bathroom. They had to trudge through muddy trails at 6 a.m. to get to the men's boathouse to borrow their boats. And they were forbidden to race, but secretly,
They'd go around the corner and go full power, for sure.
over the next decade, 3 influential women coaches continued Conaber's work, growing the program into the most popular athletic activity for women on campus. Then, in 1917, the program abruptly ended.
It was Hiram Conaber dying, so right there, they lost their #1 advocate. It was World War I starting, so suddenly campus was radically changed. The boathouse was closed.
And women's rowing disappeared for 5 decades. It wasn't until 1968 that rowing returned to campus as a club sport. And again, they put up with inadequate funding, hand-me-down equipment, and harassment from the male rowers.
The 70s were marked by this transition that was created by Title IX. And so they went from being a club sport to a varsity sport.
Conditions improved, but not without strong advocates like athletic administrator Kit Green. Under her guidance, women's sports flourished and the rowing program took off.
Because in 1980, Bob Ernst gets hired as the head coach, and the women became incredibly competitive. And they won the national championship in 1981, and of course then won the national championship in 82, and in 83, and in 84, and in 85. So 5 national championships in a row. It's never been done since.
Another gifted coach followed Ernst. Jan Harville, former Washington rower and women's assistant coach, took over as head coach in 1987. She led the Huskies to 11 Pac-10 championships, 3 NCAA championships, and was Coach of the Year 9 times before retiring in 2003. For the next 13 years, the Husky women continued to perform at the highest level, adding more accolades to the team's storied history.
All of those chapters of this history are why we have what we have today. We wouldn't be who we are if it wasn't for those women. And everybody on this team knows that, and they appreciate it.
When Yaz came on board in 2016, she inherited a team that was highly motivated. So motivated that in 2017, they became the first school in NCAA history to sweep all 3 final races and claim the NCAA title. Washington. Then in 2019, the team was poised to sweep their way to the NCAA title again. And nothing sums up the tenacity and grit of the Husky women, present and past, like the epic Varsity 8 comeback race from last to first.
Washington now is in 6th.
We're coming into the last 500, and guess what? We got speed!
Here comes Washington now moving through Cal. Margins are getting tight.
Jump! Jump! Yeah! Last time! Thanks! Thanks! We got it! We got it!
Final time of 6:07.2. University of Washington.
And for everybody back home, we are national champions!
It's easy to see why Seattle has a love affair with rowing. If you want to get in on the action, the spring season starts March 16th with the Class Day Regatta. Races start at 10 a.m. on the Mott Lake Cut. From slicing through water to flying like a bird, few pursuits can match the thrill of paragliding, especially if a disability once held you back. That story is next on CityStream. Issaquah's Tiger Mountain is home to a business with a flair for adventure. For decades, Seattle Paragliding has taught people of all ages and abilities how to fly. The list includes Michael Miller, one of the only people with cerebral palsy, who has chalked up more than 500 flights. But Michael's worsening disability has prevented him from paragliding the past 10 years. Recently, all that changed. Producer Pete Cassim explains.
The wind can throw all kinds of curveballs at you, and you need to be versed in how you're going to make it happen. But once into the air, on a sweet day, when the air is smooth and lifting, you're a bird, you're an eagle. You're flying aloft, able to climb up to the clouds if the winds are right. Unlike any other kind of flying. You're not in a cockpit, it's quiet, there's no motor. Tiger, with its Poo Poo Point, is the queen jewel of Western Washington for paragliding. From this starting point, gliders are able to climb. They've flown as far as 100 miles to the south and to the Canadian border to the north. If you aren't able to get up and fly these distances, it all lands right down here at the same landing field. This is a national destination now, Tiger Mountain, and we're right at the base of Tiger. We have flown all types of people.
The conditions, the sky looks beautiful. It's a little bit windy from the northeast, so it can be a little hard to launch, a little turbulent, but it looks okay. It looks nice.
We fly upwards of 2,500 people a year. First nervous on launch.
Run downhill, run downhill, that's it.
And then they get out into space, and very common that 3 to 4 seconds after launching, they can go from wide-eyed fear of the unknown to a big smiling
It's really cool.
realization that their fear of heights isn't there. And they range from 5-year-old tots
Ooh, this is unreal.
to 94-year-old seniors to disabled.
Have you flown in the trike before? No, it's your first time, isn't it?
Have you flown the kite? Have you flown it before?
Yeah, quite a few times. You're not my first victim, Michael. You're not my first victim.
Project Airtime, the founder and conceptor is Chris Santacroce. He came up with the gift of flying disabled people. With this, people that don't have the use of their legs, even quadriplegics can be launched.
This is what we'll be flying Michael with today. This is Superfly / Project Airtime's contraption, invention even. And basically, it allows us to take someone who is lesser able, but still enthusiastic, to go tandem with an instructor. The conditions today, it's southwest wind right now, but we're hoping for a little bit more of a northerly influence. Here we go, guys, load it up!
I'm Michael Miller. I live in Issaquah. I have a wife and a daughter. I lived on the streets on and off most of my life. When I converted to Christianity, it changed that lifestyle right away. And I used to drive the paragliders up Tiger Mountain. I started flying when I was 33. I got a little over 500 flights. A challenge, see if I could do it. Nobody with my disability had done it before. Very quiet, you have the wind blowing through you. Real nice. Get to look down and see the earth. When I'm up flying, I'm like anyone else. There's no favoritism to the sky. So I'm just like anyone else.
Michael's disabled with cerebral palsy and no longer is able to fly himself. And they're going to launch off in this Project Airtime special trike cart.
So this will be my first flight in over 10 years. I'm just a little nervous. It's all right. It will pass. Once I'm in the sky, it will be fine.
It's from the west, it's coming across. If it's coming from the side, it can kind of create a turn, or the wing might not inflate symmetrically. You have to kind of weigh the risks.
Hurry up and wait.
If you try and send it on a bad day, you might end up in the trees.
Just gonna wait for our moment. We can pick our cycles when the wind's coming in the right direction, and that's when we launch.
Excited?
Yeah. What can happen? I'm already disabled.
You gonna go a little bit off? There we go. Woo!
I just like the quietness and the serenity of it. It's very peaceful.
That panoramic view of everything 3D from space above and down below and right and left, it's a view that a person normally doesn't have. It's a feeling of elation, not fear. It really surprises me yet today how many people land and say that was the best thing I've ever done in my life.
Follow your dreams.
Woohoo! There we go. Lovely.
All right.
Seattle Paragliding continues to offer tandem flights to anyone interested. As you just saw, there are increasing opportunities for people with developmental challenges. The Arc of King County promotes and protects the rights of those with intellectual and developmental disabilities. And with us now is Robin Tatsuda, the executive director of the organization. And Robin, so tell me about the advocacy work and the programs that you offer.
Oh, absolutely. So the Arc of King County is basically the go-to resource for all things developmental disability across the whole lifespan of a person with a disability's life, from prenatal diagnosis to sort of end-of-life type issues. We help individuals and families navigate resources, connect with services, connect with each other, and advocate both individually within systems, but also with bigger pictures like legislative topics to ensure that the world is inclusive of people with disabilities.
So you have about 36,000 residents in King County that you serve. And what are the greatest needs? Is it housing? Is it healthcare? Jobs?
I mean, that's a tough question because there's needs everywhere. But I would say for us, the thing that we're most challenged by is lack of affordable, accessible housing. That is by far kind of the biggest barrier that we're seeing for families with children as well as adults with developmental disabilities. But I think it's important to know that any issue that a non-disabled person would experience, a person with disability would also experience, and usually with greater barriers. So whether it be accessing healthcare or employment or education or whatever, people with disabilities are going to typically have more barriers and challenges than a person without.
March is Developmental Disabilities Awareness Month. What do you want folks to be aware of?
Yeah, I mean, to me, the biggest thing ultimately is that people with disabilities deserve the right to be welcomed, included, valued members of their communities, just like any non-disabled person. And really, it takes everyone to accomplish that. The ARC can't do it alone. And really, if we truly accomplish our mission, the ARC wouldn't even be necessary anymore. So what I hope is that everybody think, how could I make a difference? It's not just about awareness, it's truly about acceptance and inclusion. Is there a kid in my kid's classroom that I should be inviting over for play dates and birthdays? Is there a neighbor down the street who might like to have a friend? Is there someone who could benefit from me just being more involved? That kind of thing is gonna truly accomplish that awareness sort of goal.
So many programs that you offer, but there's one in particular that's happening or going to happen that you really are excited about?
I'm so glad you asked, because we are literally launching sort of the biggest program in the ARC's history. And I say that with a lot of emphasis, because we've been around for nearly 90 years. But as I mentioned, housing, affordable housing, is one of the greatest barriers. And the ARC has actually taken steps to become part of the solution. We are partnering with an affordable housing developer to build an affordable housing apartment complex where the ARC's office will be on the ground floor, and we will serve the 36,000 members of our community with developmental disabilities. That apartment building will have 20% of the units designed for and set aside for people with developmental disabilities, and the ARC will provide supports to them while delivering all of our programs. So that's by far the most exciting.
Sounds like a great program and great opportunity for the community, and particularly the community you serve. If you have more questions about the ARC, want to know more about its programs and the people it serves, just go to their website, arcofkingcounty.org. And Robin Tatsuda, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Next on CityStream, flying is nerve-wracking for many people. For autistic kids, it can be too much, but one program is helping them adapt. Welcome back to CityStream from the Arc of King County. This organization, along with Alaska Airlines and the Port of Seattle, support an incredible program known as Wings for Autism. If you're the parent of an autistic child, the chaos and commotion at the airport can be overwhelming. But this program helps families find their wings. Producer Randy Ng has more.
Today will open up the whole world for us. No, this is an amazing place, right?
Welcome to Seattle-Tacoma International Airport.
Welcome. They said welcome. I'm Stacy Auger. I'm traveling with my grandson Aiden, who's 11, and my grandson Gabriel, who's 10. This is their very first time to the airport. Air travel today is stressful for everybody, but as parents of special needs children, you have that layered on top of it.
Today is a really exciting day. The Arc of King County, in partnership with the Port of Seattle, Alaska Airlines, and TSA, is hosting our Wings for Autism program. Wings for Autism is an airport dress rehearsal for families where they get to experience everything that they would if they were actually traveling today. Imagine, in this day and age, not being able to fly to visit loved ones.
Travel has been by car because that's a safe way for us to travel. It means we travel locally. It means we travel to areas where we know we can get our needs met in terms of food, shelter, sensory issues, that sort of thing.
And of course, some places you want to go, you can't drive to.
It looks like they're checking people in. You want to head over? You ready for that part? Okay, here we go.
Airports are very challenging environments for someone who has autism. The unpredictability of the whole airport experience, to the changes in routine, waiting in very long lines, transitions from one step in the process to the next. Couple that with sensory integration challenges, which could be noise sensitivities or tactile sensitivity. For a traveler with autism, everything is on blast at the airport, and it can be completely overwhelming.
Problem solving and working through that, I think, serves a greater long-term goal for them in giving them the skills to be able to navigate on their own. Hey, we're next. Just so you know how important this paper is, you don't move through security or get on a plane without it. And you know what? I think I'd like you to be responsible for your own.
So nervous.
Going through security, it's just a nightmare for somebody on the spectrum. I mean, you're asked to take off shoes and coats. So a lot of people may travel with a favorite stuffed animal or something, and they've got to give it up. They've got to give up their headphones, and that is very, very anxiety, producing.
You don't have anything in your pockets, do you? Good job.
Nope.
Good job, guys.
The oldest is a little bit stressed out right now. He's the one that has the most sensory issues, and although it might not be apparent to other people, I can see the symptoms in him. We're going to have some deep breaths, we're going to think positive thoughts, and we're going to just keep moving forward.
If you are city row number 25 through 34, you're welcome to board. You've got the first one.
Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome aboard Alaska Airlines Flight 9820 with service to Seattle. Look! Wow, it's an airplane!
Hey, guys.
Hi.
Welcome aboard.
My name is Aaliyah Baptist. I'm captain here at Alaska Airlines. I feel it's important because my daughter is on the autism spectrum.
24, row 24, row 24.
The fact that Alaska Airlines is integral with this, I'm very proud to be able to help them with this issue. This is very important to me personally, and I know it's very important to them.
They got to sit in the cockpit, they got to check out the galley.
Oh wow, you pressed for a flight attendant.
And we got to take care of all the questions about the buttons and the blowers and how the seat trays work, so we don't have to work through that next time. That's all out of the way for today.
That was creepy. We do have everyone on the plane at this time, so we are going to get ready to push back here.
So the last part of the trip, the pilot will take the plane up to 100 miles an hour and simulate takeoff and landing. It's about as real as you can get.
But this is okay, right?
Flight attendants should now be seated for takeoff.
This is what it feels like.
You good with this?
Best day of my life.
The best day of your life?
Best moment.
We could not do this program without the participation of our partners. Alaska Airlines has been an incredible partner in donating a plane. The Port Authority donates the runway. TSA spends time training their teams.
Oh my God, it was just crazy. Absolutely crazy.
I feel really prepared to do this for real. Where are we going? Paris?
I'm thinking about like somewhere close to begin. It's like Legoland, because we're not ready for Disneyland yet.
It's inclusion in society. It's inclusion in life. It gives individuals with autism the impetus to travel in the future.
Thank you so much.
Good?
Best day ever.
I mean, it's just life-changing.
Yes, thank you so much. Guys, they were on an airplane.
It was the best day ever.
Best day ever.
Wings for Autism was put on hold during the pandemic, but all the groups involved in the program are exploring how and when to restart it. We'll be right back. That wraps up this edition of CityStream from the Arc of King County. If you'd like to see more outstanding Seattle Channel programs, go to our website, seattle.gov, and search for feature shows. I'm Enrique Cerna. Thanks for watching.